Ever heard of a gold rush so huge it made people millionaires overnight, only to vanish into thin air? This isn't a fantasy novel. It's a real-life story of BRE-X, one of the biggest, most audacious scams in history. Grab your popcorn, because this tale of greed, deceit, and a phantom mountain of gold is absolutely wild. Our story begins in the early 1990s with a down-in-his-luck Canadian stock promoter named David Walsh. He founded a tiny company called BRE-X Minerals, which was basically worthless, trading for pennies on the stock exchange. Walsh needed a big break, and he found it in a charismatic Filipino geologist named Michael de Guzman. De Guzman had a tantalizing proposition. He claimed he knew of a remote, unexplored spot deep in the jungles of Borneo, Indonesia, specifically a place called Busang that was teeming with gold. Not just a little gold, but potentially the largest gold deposit ever discovered. For Walsh, who was desperate for a win, this was a siren song he couldn't ignore. So, in 1993, BRE-X bought the Busang property, and de Guzman, along with his associate John Felderhoff, got to work. Soon, the drill results started coming in, and they were spectacular. Every sample they pulled from the ground seemed to be laced with incredible amounts of gold. De Guzman would fly the samples from the jungle site to a lab for analysis, and with each new report, the estimated size of the gold deposit grew. First it was 2 million ounces, then 10, then 30. The numbers were astronomical, far beyond anything the industry had ever seen. The news hit the market like a lightning bolt. BRE-X's stock, once worth mere pennies, began to skyrocket. Everyday people, from teachers to firefighters, poured their life savings into the company, dreaming of striking it rich. The stock price climbed from under $1 to over 280 Canadian dollars per share. At its peak, BRE-X was valued at over $6 billion. It was the definition of a stock market fairy tale. The world's biggest mining corporations were desperate for a piece of the action. They flew in their top geologists to look at the data, and while they couldn't visit the heavily guarded site itself, the numbers seemed to speak for themselves. The Indonesian government, seeing a massive windfall, also got involved, trying to orchestrate a deal where a larger company would partner with BRE-X. David Walsh became a celebrity CEO, living a life of luxury. John Felderhoff, the chief geologist, was hailed as a genius, winning Prospector of the Year awards, and Michael de Guzman, the man on the ground, was the mysterious wizard making it all happen. They were the rock stars of the mining world. But amidst the frenzy, a few quiet voices of doubt began to emerge. Some geologists found the report well, a little too good to be true. The geology of the area just didn't seem right for such a massive gold deposit, and the gold particles themselves looked strange. They were rounded, like alluvial gold found in rivers, not the sharp, angular gold you'd expect to find locked in hard rock deep underground. These concerns were mostly dismissed as jealousy or sour grapes from competitors who missed out. The hype train was moving too fast, and nobody wanted to be left behind. The pressure was mounting for an independent company to finally verify the find. JP Morgan, a major investment bank, brought in a respected mining firm, Freeport-McMoRan, to conduct their own due diligence and drill their own test holes right next to BRE-X's. This would be the ultimate test, and this is where the fairy tale shatters. In March 1997, just as Freeport was preparing to announce its findings, Michael de Guzman, the central figure in this whole saga, boarded a helicopter to fly to the Busang site, but he never arrived. He reportedly fell from the helicopter into the dense jungle thousands of feet below. His body was found days later, badly decomposed and supposedly identified by a few dental records. The official story was suicide, but the timing was, to say the least, highly suspicious. Days after de Guzman's death, the bombshell dropped. Freeport-McMoRan released their results. Their samples showed ... nothing, no gold, insignificant amounts, to be precise. The dream was over. Panic erupted. BRE-X's stock, which had made so many people paper millionaires, collapsed. In a matter of days, it became completely worthless. $6 billion of market value evaporated. Life savings were wiped out. The dreams of thousands of investors turned into a financial nightmare. So what happened? Where did all that gold in the original samples come from? The investigation that followed uncovered a simple, yet brilliant, deception. Michael de Guzman had been salting the core samples. He was secretly shaving off tiny flecks of gold from his own wedding ring and later buying gold dust from local panas and mixing it into the rock samples before they were sent to the lab. It was a fraud of epic proportions, carried out for years. He wasn't just adding a little gold. He was adding just enough to create the illusion of a massive, consistent deposit. The rounded edges of the gold that had raised suspicions. That's because it was river gold, just like the skeptics thought. He had literally been panning for gold to salt the samples of his world-class hard rock mine. The aftermath was a mess. David Walsh maintained his innocence, claiming he was just as fooled as everyone else. He died of a brain aneurysm a year later before any charges could be fully pursued. John Felderhoff, the other chief geologist, was charged with insider trading but was eventually acquitted. As prosecutors couldn't definitively prove he knew about the fraud, he moved to the Cayman Islands, at Michael de Guzman. The man at the center of it all was gone. His supposed suicide remains a subject of intense debate. Did he really jump, consumed by guilt as his web of lies was about to be exposed? Or was he pushed, silenced by others who were in on the scheme? Some even whispered that he faked his own death and escaped with a fortune. The body was so badly damaged that some investigators and family members have questioned whether it was even him. We may never know the full truth. The BRE-X scandal sent shockwaves through the entire mining industry and financial markets. It led to sweeping regulatory changes in Canada, known as National Instrument 43-101, which established much stricter rules for how mining companies must report their exploration results. Ensuring that independent verification is a key part of the process. It stands as a powerful cautionary tale about the dangers of hype and the seductive power of greed. It shows how easily a compelling story, especially one promising unimaginable wealth, can blind even the so-called experts. Thousands of people bet their futures on a hole in the ground in Borneo, a hole that was filled not with gold, but with lies. It's a reminder that if something seems too good to be true, it almost always is. Thanks for watching this incredible story. If you found this as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most unbelievable events. See you in the next one.